You know what? Now I'm not so sure now that I'm looking close up at it because, oh my God, it's hot. Hi, welcome back to the Hobby Homestead. We are in the middle of a heat wave right now, so it's fairly early in the morning, but already just sweaty out here. I'm going to try to get as much done as I can on this task I have to do today. So right now I'm working on my raspberry patch. These are the raspberries. I have some sort of disease going on in the raspberries. It's like a virus, I think, that's in the roots, and the canes are sort of rotting off at the base. It's not great. If it's what I think it is, I'll put the name on the screen because I forget. I've been doing a lot of research on this trying to figure it out. But without actual testing of the DNA of like viruses or the different fungi that are in there, then it's hard to know what exactly is causing the problem. I am going to dig up some of the roots and show you so we can have a look together to see what's going on. But essentially the raspberries are just wilting. They're rotting off at the root level, and it seems to be spreading. I found a few plants just dotted sporadically throughout my raspberry row, and I removed them early on in the season, like a month ago already, but it seems to be picking up. And with all of these things, with what I think it might be, and just any fungus in general that can attack plants, humidity makes it worse. And it's been nice and wet here, so great for the rest of the garden. Everything's getting watered well, but the humidity is just very conducive to diseases starting. So you can see there's a gap here where raspberries have died off. They start growing back from the roots and then they just break off, fall off. And I'm going to dig out all of these roots. Luckily, raspberries spread like weeds, so they're coming up all over the place. So I can transplant them. I might just go for it, try that. But this in here is what they start to look like. So brown discoloration all the way down to where it meets the root. I gotta pull this puppy out. Ooh, what's this? There's also some slime oozing from this one. Some of it's spittlebug slime, I think, but there's something else funky going on here. This is what it looks like on the outside when you're not looking down at the root level. They just start looking like this. At first I thought it was blight. This is not raspberry cane borer. Raspberry cane borer, you'll see like two parallel lines across near the tip of the cane, and then the very tip of the cane will just wilt like that. But there's no sign of the cane borer. I do really good cultural practices on my raspberries to get rid of them. Literally, as I was saying that, I saw a raspberry cane borer insect laying their egg on this. So this, I just broke this off, but this is what a raspberry cane borer will look like in your raspberry. There's the two lines and there's a little hole in the bottom where they lay their eggs. You can come through with snips or just whatever. I don't have any snips with me. Just remove that. This is my scrap bucket. I am going to dispose of everything I pull out today. There's another one over here that is just totally limp, and I bet if I just pulled it up it would come out, but I want to get in there with the shovel and dig out the root. Okay, let's get started digging through these prickles in the heat. Fun, fun. Another thing I'm going to try doing here is just pulling all the wood chips away so it doesn't lock so much moisture in right where the roots are. I did leave just a gap of soil here when I planted the raspberries, but over time the wood chips just sort of fall in. Wood chips are hard to keep exactly where you want them, especially when you have chickens. You know what? Now I'm not so sure now that I'm looking close up at it because, oh my God, it's hot. Because apparently when you have whatever it was I thought that this was, the roots get yellow instead of white. Like they're yellow and brown and mushy right down inside the root, and this is still white. Guess more research is in order, but I'm still going to dig out these roots because I have lots of volunteer raspberries around. I'm going to try to replace them. just pops right off. Uh-oh. That looks like blight. Oh, it's starting to get hot. I've cleaned out this area, and I'm still finding some that are a little funky down in here. When I would clear the wood chips away, the canes would just like fall off against the like brushing of my hand. They would just fall off. You see that kind of funky? It's not a healthy looking raspberry cane. Is it a slug or is that some other little critter? You really do have to get close up and personal when you're trying to diagnose things in the garden. What are you? That's not a slug. Ah, there's something crawling out of the cane. Can we all see that? Now I can look this up later. What are you? It'd be kind of cute if it wasn't decimating our raspberry canes. Now sometimes it's like a chicken and an egg situation. You don't know if maybe the plant was already weakened by something else, and so an opportunistic insect came in which case I wouldn't say that it was this insect's fault. But in other cases, it's definitely the insects. I'm going to go give them to the chickens because, yeah, and I'm going to keep my eye out for more of these. Okay, I'm going to stop for now because I'm melting. And I think I got the worst of it out. I have a huge bucket full that I have to go and dump in the municipal garbage probably. And then I'm just going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to keep the wood chips pulled back from around the canes and the roots. And I'm going to keep a close eye on them for pests. I mean, we always do. This might seem kind of like upsetting to rip out so much of a raspberry row. Hi, rabbit. But really, we have a lot of food growing here. We have different varieties of raspberries in different places. And these raspberries are going to grow back in so thick. It's really a battle to keep them at bay. Like, they're such a weed. And so even if we lose half our crop this season to whatever's going on, even if we have to start fresh with clean stock, it's not a waste. I can always use this bit of space for something else if I can't have raspberries here right now. And, you know, we get just so used to being able to get whatever food we want from the grocery store. It's really a mindset shift when you're a gardener and you're growing all your own food, or a large portion of your own food. It's such a shift because you have to eat not only what's in season or what you've preserved, but what does well in a given year. So some years the weather is great for a bumper crop in raspberries. Other years fungal issues come and wipe out your crop. And you just have to roll with the punches. And you have to say, okay, I guess we're not getting raspberries this year. Let's care for the raspberry patch. Let's try to bring it back to health for future years, but let's move on and eat from other things. So that might be what we have to do this year. We're also super fortunate because 10 minutes down the road is my mom's place, and we put in a bunch of raspberries there. So we have other places to go for raspberries besides just this patch. And we have some wild black cap raspberries way over there in our yard that hopefully won't be infiltrated by whatever's going on here. So anyway, it's a mindset shift in order to not be upset when things like this happen. I've been gardening for long enough now, 20 plus years, that you really do roll with the punches, and it's not as upsetting anymore when there's a crop failure because there's such diversity, there's so many different things, and you just realize that some years are not for this one thing, and that's okay, and you move on. That said, we may still get epic raspberries. Who knows? The yellow ones seem to be the worst hit. These are the fall bearing. They're an Ann variety. That's what they're called. But down on that half, we've got our summer bearing. They're red raspberries. There's 2 varieties. So again, even though our raspberries are all kind of clumped together, We're trying to plant diversity in variety. They're resistant to different diseases. So we'll see how the red raspberries do this summer. They're already starting to form fruits. That's a good sign. So you can see the difference here. These are our fall-bearing raspberries, and there's very little sign of flowering or fruits. That's also because we cut these right back to the ground when we prune in late winter. And then over here, we've got summer-bearing raspberries. They're full of buds. Some of them already have unripe fruit on them. It's not going to be an epic raspberry year this year, I can tell you that already, but I think we'll still get some fruit. And I think it's going to be an epic strawberry year. So there's that. You can see down this side how messy it still is. And all these are raspberry plants that have escaped and I haven't weeded yet. So I might leave them, you know, as long as it doesn't impede airflow too much. They're young plants, but we might get something off of them this year. Not the summer bearing. These are primo canes of a summer bearing variety up here, so they won't produce fruit till next year. But those ones down there, those are fall bearing, so they may produce fruits for us this year. And so if I end up having to rip out a bunch more of those, at least we've got these ones. They won't be trellised, but for a cane's first year, you really don't need a trellis. Haven't identified yet what's going wrong with these. If it's a virus, I would think that that's a much bigger risk than if it's an insect pest climbing in the roots. So wish us luck with our raspberry patch this year. And if you have any issues of your own with raspberries, feel free to reach out in the comments. Together as a community, maybe we can come up with some answers for you. If you have advice to give me on what's going on with my raspberries, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I hope that you'll come and grow with us.